Good morning. Hello. Celeste Souter here. We are on, well, it's Thursday and this is unmuted. It's what I've dubbed this little everyday show where we unmute ourselves, and Sarah is actually unmuted today, so I'm thankful for that. We worked on ideal clients yesterday, and today we worked on content pillars that would speak to them. I think that we all are already kind of doing this, but it is not a bad thing to go back and make sure, check out what you're doing and all those things. So I'm going to bring my guests up. Here is Jordan. Say hello, Jordan. Sarah, and Andrea. Hello, everyone. Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Okay, so I am going to start with, and um, yeah, I'm going to start with a question, and then we'll get into and see what everybody did. So we did ideal clients yesterday. We really looked at that and got really clear on that. And then today we really looked at like the content of what, if they were to come to our page, what would they believe they know about us, but how would our content actually help them or bring, I don't know, peace, clarity, all those good things, right? It just depends on what we want them to walk away with. Um, I, for one, didn't think about these things in the beginning of my social media presence. It was just kind of like a personal blog, and you never know what you got. So, is anyone else done that? Treated social media kind of like that? Have we all done that? Yes, yes. Andrea, did you do that too? Yes,
Oh,
maybe.
definitely. Well, not so much like during my journey because back when, before my book, 2008 was really kind of the birth
That
of,
was a little before actually.
yeah.
Um, Social media. 2009 was about the time I logged on for the first time.
Yeah, right. So 2008 was the first time I'd ever heard of Facebook. So that was a long time ago. And that
Yeah.
was like kind of well after, I don't know, the first storm that we really lived through. So I didn't
Mhm.
necessarily blog, or I wasn't on social media telling our story in that way
Well,
for a long time.
we didn't know to use it like that either, like that's understandable. Um,
Well, I started blogging in 2004. So,
oh well, Jordan, like
Oh, Jordan,
she's
she's
the
the
little
youngin' in the group.
croissant.
I have
She's a
been
little,
so all over the place. I've had enough
yeah,
time to be so all over the place. But yeah, I
yeah,
made mistakes early, and that was really nice.
yeah. Because, well, Jordan, you're the youngest here,
I know.
and you definitely had probably, I think we all probably had way different upbringings than the others, but Jordan was homeschooled when homeschool wasn't cool. And then you were also really brought up to be somewhat of a independent thinker. And I have to say too, and I think that the other two, A, were a little older than you. Um, we're your big sisters. And being brought up in the public school system, we weren't given those opportunities.
Mhm.
And it's a really amazing to, have somebody here that has actually been online thinking about content for as long as you have. Um, Even with that, do you feel that the things that we've done in the last couple of days, even, I mean, we're almost on the end of week 3, but just the last couple of days, has it helped you get even clearer about what you want to write about now, as the Jordan you are today, and not in 2004 or,
Oh,
2015 or whatever?
100%. 100%. Um, I was just thinking about how one of my earliest blogging stories that helped me to learn these lessons early was my Pinterest story. So before you could even just log on to Pinterest and create an account, it was invite only. In those early days, they would, you got a few invites, and then those people got a few invites, and that's how they grew at the very, very beginning. While that was still happening, my blog went viral on Pinterest. So by the
Mhm.
time I got an account on Pinterest, I saw my post, one particular post, everywhere. And I looked at that and kind of went, well, I could double down on that and write more, but I don't want to, because it was one of those random things that wasn't what I actually wanted to be known for. And so very early on, I looked at that question of virality and visibility that happens kind of by chance, and then, okay, do you do something with that, or do you do what you actually know you're called to do? And so I started grappling with that early. All of that said, just this week, I'm refining my um, ideal client avatar, my content pillars. These things have been really vital these past 24, 48 hours. Oh, poor Sarah. um, but in part
Okay,
because, so
hold on. I wanna lean into that. Yeah, you were about to.
yeah,
So the last 24 hours and like looking at content and leaning into that. So you've had breakthrough in the last 24 hours? Is that what I'm
yes,
hearing?
yes,
Yes.
because with 20 years of content under my belt, that's a lot of different people I'm speaking to, because teenage Jordan was definitely not speaking to who Jordan in her 30s is now. And so it can be really easy to look back and go, okay, well, what performed the best? Let me do more of that.
Mhm.
When that's not
Yeah.
necessarily what God would have you do in this next season.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
definitely not like yesterday's post, this week's private post on Substack for paid subscribers only, and Sunday's post. When I was writing those, I kind of had, and I wrote those over the past 48 hours, I kind of had this sense of feeling grown up. Like, this is a new season. This is, I'm,
I love that.
I love it. Substack makes you feel grown up. I love it.
Well, not
well,
just
it's
that,
nothing
but
but that.
just
Yeah.
yeah, revisiting and really looking at your ICAs. I like that. I love that. Um, I
I get,
can't wait to read them.
yes. I'm
Yeah.
speaking with a new level of authority, is really what I'm doing. And it's
Do y'all
stuff
feel the
that
same way? Do y'all like
Well,
Andrea, Sarah?
just something quite funny to add is that
It's me, isn't it?
Substack for me when Lauren was diagnosed with leukemia was Caring Bridge. We logged everything on Caring Bridge. That was I had like a deja vu moment there where I was like, what did we log on to? And it was a community, but only invited people could read
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
what you were blogging about, and it
for
was a way
sure.
to share the daily with others without having to call them on the phone and talk to them, because I had a flip phone. I didn't have an iPhone.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I get that. Like, yeah. iPhones didn't. I don't remember when they came out. It took a little while. Um, so talking about ICA, let's go back to ICA because that's everybody listening is ideal client avatar. Jordan's like, I'm grown up. I'm here, guys. I have a level of
I love that.
authority in my 30s that I didn't have, in my teens. And obviously, duh, right? And the same goes for me. I have a level of authority in my 40s. Am I okay? Like, technically, okay. Okay. Because it kind of keeps going in and out. I have a level of authority from the things I've walked through and focused on and built. Andrea has a level of authority for the things that she's walked through and what she's building now from it's kind of like that beauty from ashes story, and Sarah too. So Andrea and Sarah have a similar um past, but it's totally different, right? Like different experiences, different time periods. But Andrea is really focusing on the advocacy for that mom or that family that's going through the diagnosis of childhood cancer. And then there's Sarah, who are you talking to, and have you had breakthrough this week? And then I want to go back to Andrea and get some, like, if she's had some breakthrough for how she's wanting to grow that. But Sarah, because Andrea and you do have that similarity, would you say that you've had breakthrough on who you're talking to and why? Oh no. Sarah is frozen.
Yeah,
Poor Sarah.
I
There she
have
is.
full I have full internet, so I'm like, I don't understand what is going
I
on.
hear you now. I hear you now.
Okay. Um, I um, I really just am not talking about my cancer story. I'm just talking to, I guess, the person I was, who I was trying to be during the cancer story, and just helping people step out into their story the way that I needed help stepping into mine, and then just helping them create content and you know, their whole kind of vibe of who they are and how to show up,
Yeah.
because that's what I
Yeah.
needed
I
help
really
with.
love too that, yeah, and the aesthetics of it, because you're such a visual person, and I love that too. We all each have our total strengths, and I love that. Andrea, have you had breakthrough on your ideal client this
Just
week?
the biggest thing I've been thinking about this week is, I yesterday, of course, we had those pain points, and then coming into, what it looks like that um, they can become on the other side of it all, and how quickly can they get to that? Can that mother get to that point quicker than I did? Right, like that's always the goal. Like, go back, take the water, show them that it doesn't have to be, lived as painfully, and that joy can coexist inside cancer, and love can coexist in cancer, inside your cancer story. And the other thing is, I've really been hearing this lately, which is a really um, honest moment for me. But I was having some time in the shower, actually, and I heard just like my brain ask, like, um, would you stop telling your story if someone gave you $1 million?
Hmm.
That gave me goosebumps.
I
And
wouldn't. Would you?
no way,
I
no
mean,
way, not no. And then I said no right away. And then I heard, how about 5 million? And I said no, because I know my story is bigger than me, and I know that God has so much in it. And the more I step into it, the more there is um, just this fire inside my soul that I
it's
can't.
weightiness.
Yes, that just is like
Yeah.
ready to go into the world, to ask those questions and talk to people, and really
Yeah.
start to uncover things that you can't do when you're in that state, when you're with the child and you're just walking every day. Um,
Yeah.
and
So I sorry to interject because I need to say this though. I had this conversation with a friend last night that we were talking about the price of a soul, right? We're all intricately woven in our mother's wombs with purpose, calling, personality that was shaped by the creator, right? We are created by a magnificent creator, and he calls us a masterpiece. And our stories can not only save people, but they can set them free. See, salvation is not a one-time act. It is it's an ever going thing. If you look at the word sozo, um, it is not just a one time act, it's the salvation. And each of our stories, even in one woman's life, if we all four were to tell our stories to just one woman, and our stories changed her life, not only her belief in a higher power in Jesus and allowing that, but if she was to experience sozo, because that's what really Andrea is talking about. In the midst of adversity, you can absolutely, because that's how God talks to us through those really, really hard times. If your story was to provide sozo for someone, it has no price tag. It's priceless because the person that you're talking to is priceless. There's no comparison, right? And I love that. That oof, we got deep today. We got deep.
Yeah, it was something that I wasn't expecting, and I had a conversation with my dad about it yesterday, and I was like, you know, I really am just completely submitted to all this, but to be asked that question, like just out of midair, and knowing that I want to tell women that's how strongly you should feel about your story. That there's no
Yes.
one that could ever tell you for any price tag to stop telling your story.
I love that. I love that. So
And
we're coming to the end of our like 15 minutes. Let's put a pin in that. Andrea, we need to get together because I really would like to have like an actual podcast with you where we can just like dive deep into you telling your story and why you're so passionate about that. Um, I yeah, and I appreciate you bringing this here because I feel that we all have that weightiness on us to not only tell our stories, but to help others tell their stories, help others with community, help others with that. And
those are those pillars, right? That's the
yeah,
pillars of
it's
it
the
all.
pillars. We were talking about the pillars today. And
The
um,
community and
before, yeah, so before I get off of here, um, does anyone else feel a burning desire to share like 30 seconds? Um, I'm telling y'all, uh, what's happening in power hours for me is nothing short of a miracle. I have to tell y'all, there's been so many cool things that are happening. I'm not ready to talk about it just yet, but yeah. Anyone else experiencing like this calm, like I'm
Yeah,
exactly where I'm
I
at.
do. Yeah, I feel like I've just lived like I don't even know, but I just keep telling people this is like my summer of freedom. Like this is our first year where we haven't been going to the hospital. We haven't had to get treatments. We haven't like in a couple weeks it's already 1 year since Jack had chemo for the last time and I'm like, oh, it just
so
makes me
awesome.
emotional, you know, and um
So beautiful.
yeah, it's just crazy to think like the Lord gave me this just year to just work on myself from when the last time Jack had chemo till now. Like he's allowed me to build something beautiful that, you know, helps people support their business and
Yeah,
I'm just very grateful for that.
I love that. I love that. Jordan, would you agree that
That
you're
you're
having
having
Yeah, it's providing a stability, confidence.
yes. I love that you said that. I'm going to leave it with this. I was reading on birth assignments, enemy versus God birth assignments, and how enemy comes against us. And she said stability. And as I was reading this book, she listed off some ways that the enemy comes after us. And see, women are actually, we are innately created to have stability. That's something that we actually
yeah.
crave in our lives is stability because it does give us a firm foundation to stand on and we're not reactive because we're emotional beings and we're responsive. And what I recognized was in that birth assignment book, instability was the birth assignment that the enemy placed on me was this unstable atmosphere. And I've been seeking stability for the rest of my life. And but not for the rest of my life. In the past, I had been seeking
Mhm.
stability, and this is one part of showing up for yourself, saving yourself, but God providing, like He's been providing the relationships, and in obedience I listened, right? Build it and they will come is what He told me with the power hours. If y'all are watching these things and you are super curious, you can come into a power hour for an entire week without paying a dime. Come, experience it. We would love to have you. We'd love to show you. So, anyways, thank y'all, ladies. I won't be here tomorrow, but Jordan will be absolutely doing the thing. And so we hope to see you then. Y'all have an amazing day. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow.
Happy 4th.